of resistance to the invading armies of the Catholics.
So sorry, who was responsible for the invasion of Baghdad and the destruction of the
The
books?
Tartars were involved in the destruction of Baghdad in the 13th century.
Okay.
And like 1 century later, 1 century and a half, you have the Reconquista with the Spanish reconquered territories of Muslims in Islamic Spain, thus putting an end to the two prides, two jewels of world civilization.
Okay. And when we look at Islamic Spain, or Andalus as it's called, some of the major developments we can talk about, like the science and the philosophy, and also many other things, mathematics and algebra and so on and so forth. How important were these developments to the modern world today?
Of course, for example, let us go to the algorithms.
Okay.
Algorithms is very important to computers. Without the idea of algorithms, you could not have created the commands in a computer, or this system, this closed system that is called the computer.
Sure.
So Muslims had a very, they contributed greatly to the basics of science, without which science would not have achieved what it achieved.
Okay. And Doctor, so why is it then that when we go through our schooling system, university system, that we're never even given a hint of the contribution of Islam towards science and technology? Rather, we're taught of medieval Islam to be like a mad, crazy bunch of people.
I guess the reason is that people in control of ministries of education and people who put the educational philosophy, they want to discount Islam's contribution to world civilization in order to say that secularism is a solution, because they have studied in the West, they come to think of education from a different point of view.
Okay.
They don't have a place for religion in general and Islam in particular. They're totally secularized people. And that's why religion and Islamic history is not a priority.
Okay.
They want to model their progress or model their educational systems on Western educational systems.
Okay.
Forgetting that Islam had anything to contribute to, even, to modern education.
Okay.
Especially that we're talking about Renaissance. The Renaissance started in Greek and Roman traditions.
Okay.
When the West wanted to develop and be reborn, it reached back to its traditions.
Okay.
We're not even allowed to reach back to our traditions, and we ignore our traditions at our risk.
And also, Doctor, my final question for this particular episode, it comes back to, you mentioned the solution. What would you say is the solution for the Muslims now? I mean, we all want to go back to those beautiful days. What do we do? Do we look towards secularism? Do we look towards some other ism or schism? What should we do, and what is our solution?
What I see is that secularism has failed miserably in the Arab world, because all we get is a secularized elite that wants to control the rest of society and model it according to an idea taken from China or Marxism or Russia or America, okay, or France, whatever. So this did not work. This started in the 60s. Now we are in 2016. That was a long time, like 50 years. We tried Marxism, communism, nationalism, all failed. Okay. You can see failed states in Syria, Iraq. You can see weak countries like Egypt. Egypt ranks 139 in education worldwide.
Right.
Out of 140 nations, Egypt ranks 139.
So second from the bottom.
Yeah. So if you look at a country that is so central to the Islamic and Arab world as being so back in terms of health and education, then you have a real problem.
Okay.
So basically, nationalism and secularism has not brought any advancement to the Islamic world.
Okay, so hopefully, Doctor, because we are running out of time now, but in a future episode, maybe we can dedicate some time to the solution and how we can bring about the solution in a practical way as well. So on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for coming to our program today. and also like to conclude by saying Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for having me. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of our program here, The Pool of Ideas, where we had a fantastic discussion about the Renaissance. And subhanAllah, isn't it amazing? Doesn't it make you feel so proud when you look at our history, not just in Baghdad, but also in our history in Spain, and see the contributions that we made, not just in philosophy and science and technology, but also in human rights, also in the fact of how we were the most tolerant people that were around in history at that time, and still to this day. So dear viewers, we've got to look into ourselves, and we've got to also prosper and try to revive these sciences, revive this mentality of being prosperous even today. Dear viewers, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to our program, The Pool of Ideas. We conclude here, and we will see you on our next episode. So until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Open your eyes to the world of today. Believe not the lies that they always say. Look for the truth and swallow your pride for things that you thought that didn't exist.